Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Ready to Love. This is part one of the reunion. You know, I'm telling you, when I'm trying to get stuff done, somebody always interrupted me. Now, granted, I'm at work, so they can't interrupt me, but it's just the principle of the whole thing. So it is Sunday. I don't know if I'll ever be able to review a Friday show appropriately because that Saturday, my Saturdays are usually jam packed. It's very rare that I have a free Saturday if I'm not working or if I just don't have something already booked for the day. But yeah, we're here for Ready to Love Part 1 reunion. I can honestly tell you guys, I was so unenthused about it. I didn't even want to watch it. And I'm only watching it because, for the people who do care, I wanted to review it. But, yeah. So, anyway, we start the reunion off talking about lust versus love. Of course, people think love is more important, but a little bit of lust doesn't hurt anything. And then we talk about Devin and his foot fetish and how he had some photos of Sharice's feet in his phone, possibly. And just, child, nobody cares. Devin was barely here 15 minutes. And I don't care about his foot fetish. Foot fetishes are a very big thing, very popular market. Nothing to see here, if you know what I mean. So, moving on. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Jamila and Randall. Now, I wish the ladies could stand up and do like a group photo because I really wanted to see how each lady looked. I'd love to talk about the outfits and who was my best and worst dress. I like Jamila's dress. It was given a little too much in the boobs, but I thought the dress and the way that it laid was very pretty. I want Jamila to be released from the shackles of matching her eyeshadow with her outfit, but maybe that's just her swag. So anyway, Jamila and Randall, it doesn't even look right. Just by watching them, you can tell that the connection is not where it needs to be. And I think that Jamila missed the sarcasm that nephew Tyler Perry gave when he was like, "Oh, I can tell by the way you guys are sitting that the connection is still strong," or something of that nature. But it's not strong anymore. Randall was pretty quiet. Jamila was answering all the questions, basically saying that they do have an undeniable bond, to which Kayla rolled her eyes. Kayla, not becoming of you, babe. Why, don't act like that. You don't need to act like that, okay? You went home with no one. And that's okay. Because I'm not saying any of them were a prize for you, but I'm just saying, you ain't got to act like that on that reunion stage, baby. It's okay. But she was answering most of the questions as far as where their relationship is now. They're still dating. They had to learn to date outside the show. Right now, there's a lot of emotional intensity. Nephew Tyler Perry does ask how they feel about one another, to which Randall just pretty much echoes Jamila when she was like, she still has very strong feelings for Randall. The connection is still very strong for her. And he's just like, same. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not feeling Randall on the stage, and I don't think their relationship is in a good place. And she also says that they are dating each other, but they're also dating other people. But then she acted like she just now found that information out. So did she know it or did she not know it? Because she kind of made a comment like, unbeknownst to her. But then she was like, well, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. I don't know about those two. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Let's just move forward. All right, so we have Sharice up on the stage next, and we talk about Sharice's tone and her attitude, which a lot of the viewers did not like, and a lot of people on the show didn't like either. But she does say that she can be very direct, very blunt. It can come off as rude to people, and that's something that she knows about herself, and something that she seems like she knows that she needs to work on, but then she also keeps saying, well, that's just who I am. That's just a part of who I am. And so Dominica pipes up and says that she doesn't really appreciate Sharice insinuating that she might have been a stripper. Was Dominica her stage name? And she was just like, I didn't say stripper. Okay. It could have been any kind of stage name. It could have been a performing stage or arts and musical stage. And I'm just like, Sharice, cut it out. Like, one thing I can't stand about people, if you know you did something, just own it. Don't play coy with me. So Dominica did a really good job in defending herself when she talked about how people perceived her or how people looked at her and how she felt like it was a double standard. Like, I was enjoying myself, I was laughing, I was drinking, and I was talking, but everybody was. And so it kind of just singled me out like I was doing too much or like I was ghetto. And that's a double standard. And I actually agree with Dominique on that. Um, Swayze jumps in and says that it's a party. Everybody was being loud. Everybody was drinking. What, you supposed to be quiet? You supposed to whisper? And so after he says that, Zoe jumps in. Now, when Zoe jumped in, I knew that it had absolutely nothing to do with defending Dominica, and it had everything to do with the dig that he wanted to get in on Sharice that he had already prepared. So he says, why can't we just accept that that's part of who she is, even if she was being loud? Let's say she was like that. Even if she was, why can't we just accept that as being a part of who she is and accept her as she is? And Sharice says, and likewise, why can't we just accept certain traits and qualities about me, and that's just how I am? And he said, because the things about you that you want us to accept is fake as F, right? And so he starts the whole thing again about her being fake and about her being rude and just she just phony. And you can't really hear everything he's saying because Backstage is going crazy. They're screaming, they yelling like, oh my God, I knew this was gonna happen, oh my gosh. So then we get back out to the cast and Zoe is still going off. Nephew Tommy did intervene, but he took too long, if you ask me, because they ended up going back and forth. And so he gets Zoe to calm down so that he can ask Sharice some additional questions. But then it just gets started back up again after Sharice says that she's learned how to do better with herself, to be less guarded, be more vulnerable, how to communicate, how to talk to people. Unlike folks like Zoe, she brings him up again, and that's when they start arguing again. So there's some mud being thrown, and in that mud there's a little bit of tea. Zoe says, yeah, you fake as F, just like with your boyfriend that you drug down in that bar. I was like, now we talking about drug like drag, or we talking about drug like pill? Like, what we talking about? That you drugged at that bar? And she said, yeah, just like your girlfriend that you had the whole time you were on the show. They were just going back and forth. Nephew Tyler Perry does step in again to quiet Zoe down and tell him to wait a minute. But it was just a mess, you guys. And I do want to know more about the tea that was thrown out there. But from what I understand, this is not going to be Zoe's last outburst at the reunion. And one more thing I forgot to say, y'all. Dominica does end up admitting that Sharice called her and apologized. She says she called her right, I don't know after the elimination, but sometime during the show she did call her and apologize. So I'm just like, Dominica, girl, why you brought it up? Why you brought it up like this your first time confronting her? Did Will Packard and them tell you to do that? I don't know. And then Zoe also brings up, speaking of phone calls, that Sharice had called him after he had gotten eliminated, but he didn't answer because she fake. Okay, he don't deal with fake people. He don't have time for that fake mess. But moving on. Okay, it's a lot for me to say, and I'm not taking notes like I'm watching it scene by scene, so I hope I remember everything, because it was like, whew, it's a lot that happened in this one little clip. So we got Mike, we got Brandy, we got Kayla, and we're talking about the love triangle that they had experienced, the three of them. Hold on. That the three of them experienced this love triangle. So they play back the clips, and then they start talking about their individual connections. Mike does say that he did not want to hurt Kayla. Kayla's a very strong-minded woman, and he didn't try to hurt her. They even played the clip that we didn't get to see of him telling her that he was not going to continue to pursue her in the process. But, you know, he just ultimately felt like it was about Brandy and that they had a stronger connection, and that he wanted to deal with Brandy. They asked Brandy how she felt with seeing him and Kayla's connection on screen, and she was just like, oh, it's definitely real. You could definitely see it. And there was a little bit of jealousy there. I did feel a little jealous. When they asked Kayla how she felt, you know, first she said it feels kind of weird because it was such a long time ago. But Kayla feels that her and Mike actually had a stronger connection than him and Brandy did. And she said that they were more physically affectionate, which Brandy even said she noticed that. And that they just had a stronger emotional connection. Like, yes, it did start off where he was just mostly attracted to me, but I honestly felt like we had a lot more going on than him and Brandy, or she feels like it's at least just as strong as him and Brandy's. Okay, Brandy ate that. She took it well. Brandy had to eat a lot on the stage. She ate that. She took it well. Mike made a comment that let me know. I don't know if Brandy noticed it, but it let me know that he somewhat settled for what he thought was easier and more comfortable. He made the comment that him and Kayla are a lot alike. And nephew Tyler Perry says, what does that mean? And do you know this man said, we both got options. And it just would never work. And I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to hear somebody say that makes it sound like, does Brandy not have options? And is that why she is a safer choice for you? Kayla has options, so you know that one wrong move, and well, you feel Kayla has options, you feel Kayla has just as many options as you, which means you know that if you try that BS that you might run on any other woman, she's going to be out the door, because that's what I got from it. And I don't know how Brandy doesn't see it. Even from watching the show playback, if I were Brandy, I would know he somewhat settled for me. And y'all let me know if y'all feel that way about it. I really do. I feel like Brandy was an easier decision. I felt like Brandy didn't really challenge him as much. She spoke highly of him and everything that he did and everything that he was from the very beginning. He doesn't really have much he has to aspire to with Brandy. She's already so impressed by where he is at this moment. And I just think he went with what was easy, like something that he wouldn't have to work for. Same with Randall. I feel the same about Randall. With Kayla, it would have just been a little bit more of a challenge for him. He would have had to compete with her other options that he does feel like she has. And I honestly don't think it would have worked out with the two of them long term anyway. But yeah, he pretty much said it, in my opinion. So after this whole little thing goes on, Dominica pipes up again. Now listen, I like what Dominica had to say to Sharice, but then I'm just like, Dominica, did you have a bone to pick with everybody? Because now she's talking about how she had the same personality as Brandy and she felt like she wasn't given a chance. I think we all know why that is, right? Do we have to yell it from the rooftop? I have a feeling that Mike just wasn't as attracted to Dominica. You know, I don't know what it was about her, but he just wasn't as attracted to her as he was to Brandy, you know, physically. So she makes the comment that she wasn't really given a fair shot. She wasn't really given a fair chance, that even when she tried to connect with him on the fact that they lived in the same neighborhood and they did some of the same things. We were at grad night together. You acted like I had a gun in my lap, like you wasn't fooling with me like that. And then she was trying to put it on him that he may have assisted in getting her eliminated with the other guys because she knows people that he knows. They live in the same neighborhood, and she even knows that he's dating some people right now. She knows the other people he's dating, and so then everybody just like, oh my gosh, you know, everybody's all big-eyed, and Brandy is just like, whoa. So when asked if there's any truth to this, he's just like, no, I don't know what she's talking about. Look, right here, all I'm worried about is right now. I said, Mike, all I'm worried about is right now. And right now, it's all about me and Brandy. I said, Brandy, please don't let that slide. She says she's not going to say the lady name. She's going to keep her name sacred, but it started with a J and she makes strawberries or something like that. Chocolate covered strawberries. Listen, Dominica was coming with the tea. I don't know if I liked it, but I saw what she was trying to go with it. But I also felt like, Dominica, you were one of the first people eliminated. Like, clearly, he wasn't the only one who felt you should go. It was a voting decision. It was a universal, not universal, but it seemed to be a decision amongst most of the men that you should go ahead and go home for whatever reason, whether you felt like it was fair or not. And same thing when it comes to, Mike was trying to defend himself when it comes to that whole situation. And Mike is just like, well, look, I'm sorry if you felt like I didn't give you a fair shot or whatever, but we all voted. And that was just kind of the end of that. I honestly just felt like Dominica just wanted to drop that tea that she had. I don't think Mike had any control of her leaving just because he didn't want his tea spilled while he was on the show. I don't think he had control of that. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Then backstage, we got Kadian, who had her whole ass out. Kadian love putting that body out, don't she? But we got Kadian who, you know, sometimes ladies, we got to know when to just chill out a little bit. And Kadian, I think if she would have done that, things might not have got so heated backstage, because Swayze's not a talking guy. He's a let's solve it guy, and how he solves it is through action, right? So She's backstage the whole time this exchange is going on, by the way. She's backstage telling Zoe it was his fault that Mike lost interest in Kayla, because Kayla was Mike's interest from day one. Mike even told everybody if she hadn't kissed Zoe, then Kayla would have been the choice, which to me is weak, very insecure. I'm just, don't get me started on that again. We've already talked about it. And Zoe was just like, I didn't do nothing. And they said, Swayze, it's your fault because you lost, and I guess the winner got a kiss. And he was like, shoot, it ain't got nothing to do with me losing. I could have won. If I was a little bit older, I would have won. And Zoe was like, what is that supposed to mean? What does that mean? But what you talking about? That's dumb. And Zoe was like, well, I said if I was older, I would have won. And next thing you know, Swayze is getting up to take his jacket off because he talking about he don't play and I'll show these boys. I said, Swayze, are you on that Duce? It escalated so quick. But what I did notice is that Zoe, that energy he had outside for Sharice, he didn't have that energy backstage with Swayze. Why is that, Zoe? Inquiring minds want to know what happened to that you fake, you phony energy that you had with Sharice. Why you didn't have it with Swayze? Is it because you didn't want him to get up in that ass? Now, granted, I don't know why Swayze was so mad. But I just know bro was ready to fight, and all of a sudden Zoe got to go. He ain't got time for this. He got a business. He got a flight out the country. He running out the back door. I said, this right here is a mess. Oh my gosh, get these people off of my telephone screen. So now we have the ladies of the yellow. We got Kadian, we got Shakira, we got Sharice. I can't remember who else was up there, but I actually wish that Ready to Love would go to a color theme, because I think it looks great on stage when they're all dressed in the same thing. And the yellow was pretty. I don't know who was my favorite yellow, but the yellow was pretty. So Shakira is up there and she's talking about just a situation where she felt like Kadian had betrayed her trust by bringing up her situation in front of a man, namely Mike, and she didn't appreciate that, because what goes on in the ladies' lounge should stay in the lounge. Kayla wants to know what's her story. Now, Kayla's in the back, and everybody is just like, I think she's talking about her son, and she was like, no, it ain't got nothing to do with her son. That's what I'm saying. Don't nobody even know her story. Like, nobody even knows. So, when they get back out there, it doesn't take long for her and Kadian to get into a little tiff about whether or not Kadian was wrong. Shakira feels like her trust was violated. Nobody should have ever brought the situation up between her and what happened with her and her trauma, and how this has really caused her to realize different things that she needs to heal and different things that she's experienced. Y'all, honestly, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I tuned out a little bit. I think Shakira is gorgeous to look at, but all that talking that she does, even her voice, it just gets on my nerves. I'm sorry. Kadian is defending herself and saying that she did not do it to offend. She didn't even tell Mike the totality, as she said, of the situation, but she did bring it up in a way where she was saying, given Shakira's situation and what she's been through, she actually would have more to say about this matter than I would. She would actually even be able to speak on it more than I would be able to speak on it, given her situation. But I didn't tell people what your situation was. I think Shakira's thing is, don't bring it up at all. All right, in front of company that I did not tell, which she eventually told everybody about her having some trauma, but don't bring it up in front of people that I did not tell. That was her point. She didn't like it. Kadian says she would have been able to apologize, just like she wrote her on Instagram, and Shakira didn't respond. And Shakira says, at that point, I was not in the space emotionally I'm just like, oh my gosh, to respond to you. Fine, you don't have to accept her apology. She even told Kadian, you don't have to apologize. And Kadian said, I won't. Because what I'm not going to do is apologize for something that I'm not sorry for, just for you to turn around and play the victim like you've been doing. And she ain't sorry about it. And I somewhat agree with her. I do think Shakira is putting a lot on it. Do I think Kadian should have brought it up? Probably not. But Kadian stick her foot in her mouth all the time. And I do want her to realize that sometimes she do be talking too much. Just like backstage. Like, be quiet. Why you keep bringing up Zoe and, the kiss and all that stuff? Like, that's none of your business. Your man is sitting beside you. You don't really need to be addressing what other men did or did not do. So she does have a tendency to sometimes talk too much. and she probably shouldn't have brought up her situation. But I do think Shakira is putting a lot on it. I really do. Shakira says she's booked and busy at the end of the day, and Kadian tell her stay booked. I hope you get all the auditions you need. Now, y'all, that was funny because baby girl could be an actress. Now, what I didn't like about this scene was Sharice jumping in on it. Kadian was holding her own. Kadian doesn't have any problem defending herself. She does a really good job, so I don't feel like Sharice needed to jump in that. I think she needed to sit back, because then it started to look like, like a gang. It started to look like a gang session, and we don't want that. So nephew Tyler Perry does bring up, as black women, there should be some level of respect. When they started arguing, I was just like, y'all don't care about no black women and whether or not they respect each other on TV. You would have made some changes in this show a long time ago if you did. But, they got to pretend for the television screen. But I will say this is the most feisty reunion outside of that one. No, I think this is probably the feistiest reunion I have seen, for sure. Oh, Lord. Okay, so next we have, let me hurry up because my shift is about to be over. Okay, so next we have Looney and Dominica and Sharice, and I'm missing somebody. Oh, Shakira on stage to talk to LJ. LJ is just the Lover Island boy. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I'm sorry to my Caribbeans. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it again. But he is the island boy that everybody loves. He's the lover boy. He is who they said he was. And Shakira was just like, I really liked LJ and I knew it was wrong, but it felt so right. I said, girl, I know the feeling. I done got caught up like that too. So then the ladies kind of discuss who's dating LJ now. And both Sharice and Looney have been out with LJ, Dominica as well. And I could tell him and Dominica had been out just by the way that they were interacting. Speaking of Dominica, she has her cast off, so the prayers of the righteous were not forsaken. Hey, glory. And then I liked her hair. Now, I'm normally not a big updo person, especially if it's kind of stiff, but I like the fact that I could see more of her facial features. The dress was giving Great Gatsby, but it wasn't bad. It was just a little too formal for the occasion, but her makeup was beautiful, and I was really glad to just see more of her face. I hated that she kept putting them glasses on. I was like, Dominica, take off them glasses. Don't put them back on. But maybe she needed to see something, So they've all been out with him. She calls them sister wives, and as they were sitting up there chatting and laughing, hell, even Sharice seemed at ease. I said, you know what? This might work right here. Now, I don't know if I could be. I've always said that if there's any type of situation where I'm going to be another wife, I got to be the top. I got to be the HBIC. I got to be the number one wife. I got to be the one making the decisions. And, my house got to be the biggest as well. So I ain't living, I ain't cohabitating with these hoochies and raising each other kids because, only kids I'm raising is mine. Okay, but I always said if I ever did it, I got to be number one. But all of them seem to be at ease with the fact that they all dating LJ. I don't know why they dating LJ, but maybe he got a Mercedes experience going on. It's the LJ experience. If they like it, I love it. So LJ just says that when it comes to the ladies as well as his ex, because they do ask, they even ask if the ex picked out this outfit. And Looney was like, that's definitely your boo if y'all had just had sex a month ago. And I'm like, Looney, you say that, but you still going out with them. But, maybe y'all just doing it for fun. So anyway, LJ says when you have genuine connections with people, it's hard to just throw away. Keep that in mind, ladies. That means all of you will be sticking around as long as the connection is genuine. So, okay, LJ and the sister wives, y'all do that. So then after that, we get everybody back on stage because we're going to complete part one. They show some of the most dramatic parts of the series. I kind of skipped past that. But there is another tiff, y'all, between Sharice and Kadian. And I was like, didn't y'all just have each other's back, or Sharice had your back? Not that Kadian asked would, but here y'all are about to argue because y'all remember that Sharice said, you told me we was going to go out to eat with your sugar daddy. And Kadian said, I never said that. I don't even talk like that. And Sharice was like, all right, it wasn't recorded, but I do distinctly remember you saying that we was going to go out with your sugar daddy. She keeps saying she didn't say it. They go back and forth about whether or not Kadian said it. And Kadian was like, I just don't care about the comment. You just came over here and whispered in my ear that you wanted us to be friends. And she was like, I do want us to be friends, honey. Baby, I love you. I said, uh-oh. Y'all was so right because Really, y'all, who does all of this arguing and then turn around and be like, I want us to be friends? In all honesty, now I'm not saying I'm the bisexual expert or anything like that, but it was giving attraction energy to me a little bit. Was it doing that for anybody else? But they go back and forth about whether or not she fake and who a liar. And Kadian had a Freudian slip because she was like, you said that we were going to go out with your sugar daddy. She was like, yes, I did. No, I did not say that. Oh my gosh, y'all. And Kadian said she'll slap all these hoes on this stage. And after that, Sharice got up and said, slap me. I said, Sharice, sit down. Because something tell me Kadian will do it, coochie out and all, because she got her whole coochie out. She will slap somebody. Her and Swayze, now I'm starting to see the similarities. Because when we talked to Swayze, I forgot about this, about his blow up against Zoe. Swayze don't even know what Zoe said. He was like, I don't know what he said, but I ain't like his tone. So, you got to show people. When I say something, I mean that. Okay, I'm going to stand in it. I was like, oh, excuse me, not stand in it. I'm going to stand in the paint. I said, you know what? Y'all matching each other's energy. I didn't see it before, but I see it now. Why Kadian looked like she was turned on? I said something wrong with them. This that couple that you can't invite to game night. They gonna mess around, get to arguing. You gonna have to break it up, and then they go have sex in your bathroom. Anyway, y'all, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna see y'all for the next for part 2. Bye.